that speaks your language.
Anyị ga-eweta akụkọ gbasara ọrịa ahụ nke wakporo obodo anyị.
Kálejì, mo kọ́kùnrin, mo kọ́bìnrin, mo kí ọmọdé, mo sì kí àgbàlagbà.
Mu ci gaba da yi ma rundunar sojin ƙasar nan addu'a.
Ẹ kú lẹ́yìn tèmi, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa ètò yín ètò obìnrin tó dángájá.
Wa ya fi cancanta a ɗauka a matsayin ɗan aikin cikin gida.
Jama'a masu kallon tashar NTA Hausa, barkamu da warhaka.
Kí ni ayẹyẹ ọdún iléyá tá máa ń ṣe lọ́dọọdún yìí rọ̀ mọ́?
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Gas pipelines are the arteries for powering electricity. When the artery is burst, then the entire system collapses. Vandalizing gas pipelines is a criminal offense against the Nigerian people. Let us join hands and protect our gas pipelines from the enemies of Nigeria. Report any suspected vandal to the security operatives. Let us stop vandals before they destroy our collective national heritage, so we can have the Nigeria of our dreams, where there will be light at all times. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
Nigeria, a land blessed with rich and diverse cultural heritage. In Nigeria, culture is reflected in all aspects of our lives: language, dance, food, and music. Today, the country has over 521 languages and over 250 dialects and ethnic groups. However, the top three largest and most widely known being Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Although they might appear as different entities, they're all part of a single unit called Nigeria. With culture being a way of life of the people, it is necessary that we celebrate our diverse cultural heritage, not minding our differences. Nigeria is often described as a country of unity in diversity. This description probably stems from the fact the country is made up of over 400 linguistic groups. The onus therefore lies on us to evolve strategies of harmonizing the rich cultural heritage that abound in Nigeria to avoid erosion of the cultures and traditions of about 250 ethnic nationalities in Nigeria.
The finals of the Men and Women African Cup of Nations. It's always frenetic. On days such as this, there are no tribes, no religion. Here, Nigerian warriors are out to represent, to show the skills that makes us the best. On days like this, the color is one. The color is green. When we get the job done, it is because we have stuck together. When we celebrate, we stand.
President Buhari returns home after a successful outing at the London Anti-Corruption Summit. Flurry of voices as government defends new pump price of fuel, and hope for the resuscitation of Lake Chad Basin as government plans to spend $15 billion to recharge the basin. A warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Elizabeth Barnon. We're reaching you live from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. The Ogun State government has requested the combined rescue team to be more diligent with the rescue operations as some non-site
to investigate the cause of the incident and prosecute anyone found culpable. How to take care of the victims remain the paramount concern of government. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Abuja after a 3-day working visit to the United Kingdom. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 6:30 in the evening. He was received by the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, and other senior government officials.
Allies in the anti-corruption war.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the new fuel pricing regime is not a subsidy removal issue, but a foreign exchange problem in the face of dwindling earnings. The Vice President stated that what is most important is how to shield the poor from the harsh effects of the policy. In a statement from a senior special assistant on media and publicity, Laolu Akonde, the Vice President explained that most of the fuel consumed locally is imported, and since late last year, independent marketers have brought in little or no fuel because they have been unable to get foreign exchange from the CBN as crude oil earnings have fallen. The only option left for the federal government was to allow independent marketers and any Nigerian entity to source their own foreign exchange and import fuel and restrict the sale at a price between 135 and 145 naira per litre. As stated by the Vice President, with competition, private refineries and those of the NNPC working at full capacity, prices will drop considerably. The statement says the target of the federal government is that by the fourth quarter of 2018, Nigeria should be producing 70% of fuel needs locally.
Parties and then look at it. If there are better ways of doing it, maybe we can just suggest. If there are no better ways of doing it, then all as leaders will just have to close ranks and accept the fact that it's happened and then see how we can move this country forward. Because I believe the overall goal of this government is to ensure that this country don't collapse on our head.
The Speaker also received the President of Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, where he urged the federal government to strengthen its mechanism against tax evasion. He says the House of Representatives will soon engage the Minister of Finance on tax issues.
Totally free the economy and let the normal laws of supply and demand operate. Of course, government standing by to protect the long-suffering Nigerian who is at the margin.
Also, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, has appealed to Nigerians to exhibit high sense of patriotism as they dialogue on the propriety or otherwise of the recent increase in petrol pump price. He made the appeal in a statement in Abuja. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh has details.
For months now, Nigerians have been subjected to severe hardship due to the scarcity of petrol.
Says the new price regime for petrol has become inevitable in order to check the scarcity that has enveloped the country. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this at the inaugural conference of the Advertisers Association of Nigeria in Lagos. Anthony Forson reports.
Took time to explain what necessitated the policy increase, said the decision is in the overall interest of Nigerians.
I can tell you that that decision is inevitable if we are to end the crippling fuel scarcity that has enveloped the country, if we are to ensure the availability of products and the suffering that our people have been subjected to should be put to an end.
Lai Mohammed said the NNPC alone cannot import the product.
The unavailability of forex and the inability to open letters of credit have forced the marketers to stop product importation and impose over 90% supply burden on the NNPC since October 2015. In contrast to the past, where NNPC supplies only 48% of the national requirement. Pushed to supply 90% of the products required for domestic consumption, the NNPC has continued to utilize crude oil volumes outside the 445,000 barrels a day allocated to it, thereby creating a major funding and remittance gaps in the Federation account.
On the issue of subsidy, the minister further cleared the air.
The truth, ladies and gentlemen, is that there was no provision for subsidy in the 2016 appropriation. The XY PMS price of 86 naira 50 kobo would have resulted in a monthly deficit of 13.7 naira per litre, which translates to 16.4 billion naira monthly. There's neither funding nor appropriation to cover this.
While appealing to Nigerians to bear with the government, as the PPPRA and the DPR will further be empowered to ensure a level playing ground and strict compliance with market rules by all stakeholders. The liberalization of the petrol supply and distribution, the minister further explained, will allow marketers and other entities willing to supply the product to source for their forex and import their PMS. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Acting Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mrs. Ngozi Ekioba, has asked Nigerians to show understanding and cooperate with government over the new pump price of fuel. In a statement, Mrs. Ekioba says government is not unmindful of the hardship of Nigerians over the past few months, hence the steps taken to ensure the availability of the product. She urged Nigerians not to take undue advantage of the development to hike the prices of goods and services. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun says the immediate injection of 350 billion naira into the economy by way of capital expenditure will trigger the repositioning of the Nigerian economy. Ufan Shaji reports that the minister was speaking on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria on the implementation of the 2016 budget, federal government budget of change.
The principal goal of the 2016 budget, according to the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, the guest hoped that the key targets and provision of the budget, when achieved, will create wealth. In Abuja, Ufan Shaji, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that strategies have been put in place to enhance economic recovery and welfare of all the citizens. In a message to financial experts at the annual conference of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, the president said diversification of the nation's economy is the way to go. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has the details.
In the 11 months of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration,
President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, said, with the constant fluctuation in the price of oil in the international markets, there is a need for the nation to look inwards, especially in the area of internally generated revenue.
We understand that tax payment is part of the social contract between government and the people, and therefore the most effective measure to enhance compliance is the knowledge that tax revenues are being utilised effectively for the development of the people. This we are ensuring with our determined fight against corruption, which has been so debilitating and has robbed Nigeria of development. We are already implementing public financial management reforms to strengthen our financial controls.
Experts at the event spoke on multiple taxation, appropriate tax to encourage investors, and bring others into the tax nets.
It is possible to have all this effective tax administration. Once there is tax reform, then tax authorities, they should be autonomous.
Make use of electronic information technology to carry out survey of all taxable activities and operations in each of the local government in the states.
Whatever we think we're collecting now, we can multiply it by 10. So current figures of 4 trillion being asked of FIRS could go up to 30 or 40 trillion.
Participants at the event agreed that an efficient, effective tax administration is a veritable tool for economic diversification in line with the change agenda of governments. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Oyema says $15 billion is to be spent on recharging of the Lake Chad basin. The minister said this in a media briefing in line with the second Regional Security Summit in Abuja. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
The briefing was for the minister to intimate the media on issues of dominance at the second Regional Security Summit in Abuja. This time around, the military situation in the northeast, humanitarian support to the region affected by Boko Haram, as well as intelligence sharing, are on the front burner. The minister said apart from the IDPs in different parts of the country, about 65,000 refugees are still in Cameroon, and a tripartite approach by Nigeria, Cameroon and the United Nations Refugees Commission would be actively used for their safe return to Nigeria.
We have also the situation, looking at the environmental and economic situation of the Northeast, and in particular the environmental impact on Lake Chad itself, which is now 10% of its original size. And this has had a terrible economic impact on the people of that region. And during the last conference of the Parliament,
Jeffrey Oyema confirmed that a total of $15 billion will be needed to recharge the Lake Chad, adding that countries in the region will also explore ways of sharing intelligence.
Then look at the intelligence sharing. There's a fusion unit that was set up with headquarters here in Abuja, and the idea is to facilitate the sharing of intelligence. This fusion unit was set and to coordinate and cooperate a mechanism for coordination and cooperation amongst these frontline states. So that's the military dimension is going to be looked at.
The Foreign Affairs Minister also granted audience to the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, who is in the country to attend the Regional Security Summit. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has inaugurated an implementation committee for the... Stay with us.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
As the sun rises over the hills of Abuja, so too dawns a new way of life and exquisite standard of living. Enjoy your own
They can be used as collateral for borrowing. Investors receive guaranteed, competitive fixed income every 6 months, as well as principal amount at maturity. You can invest as little as 10,000 naira in the FGN fund. To be part of this great offer, see your stockbroker, banks, or discount houses for details. TMO, using FGN funds to support sustainable economic development.
Guys, I did try remember the code to buy MTN internet bundle.
That one easy now. Make I help you Google the thing. Na.
Just dial *123#.
I dey use BB now.
Just dial *123#.
If I want change tariff plan, uncle.
Same thing.
Of course. That's why it comes simple.
For faster access to MTN services, just dial *123#.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
What happened? It was a mosquito. Daddy, here.
What's happening here?
Mama, mosquitoes.
I sprayed, but the mosquitoes aren't dying. No longer, because I've bought Motane powder.
To make that difference, because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
If you're just joining us,
In time, we did not submit in time, sir, but we submitted. If there is if somebody who requests information to know the number of staff we have, it can be easily obtained. Let a petitioner, let a Nigerian write a request to FIRS on Freedom of Information Act. It is easily accessible.
Other MDAs are expected to also defend their levels of compliance with the Act before the committee in due course. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adigloye, NTA News.
Talking health now, Minister of Health Professor Isaac Adewale has urged Nigerians to desist from the use of unprescribed medication. This was during a joint media briefing between the Federal Ministry of
Fadeshola Adedayo decided to run marathon from Abuja to Lagos to raise public awareness on the disease. The Minister of Health flagged off the marathon from the radio house in Abuja. Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
And wife of Nigeria's President Aisha Buhari, in partnership with the wife of Nasarawa State Governor Meru Tanko Almakura, has flagged off free medical services in Nasarawa State as part of her nationwide campaign to improve the health of women and children. Joshua Ojito has details.
The 3-day free medical services is targeting the less privileged women and children across the 13 local government areas of Nasarawa State. The exercise, which is carried out by the Future Assured Initiative, a pet project of Mrs. Aisha Buhari and the Telefi Women and Youth Foundation, an initiative of wife of Nasarawa State Governor Meru Tanko Almakura, will also target the deworming of over 3,500 children across rural communities in the state. Areas to be covered include screening and treatment of people living with health challenges like hypertension, diabetes, breast and cervical cancer, hernia, lipoma and cataract, among others.
I'm calling on all people with NGOs that have the opportunity to provide.
As prompt actions were always taken in the past cases of alleged inappropriate behavior or sexual molestation by staff.
Franca Uzoma Olwa reports that the ministry set up a 7-man committee in March this year to ascertain the veracity of allegation of sexual molestation of a junior secondary school student by a teacher in Queen's College. This is NTA Network News. It's now time to join Vera in Lagos for more stories. and some business news. It's over to you, Vera.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening. This is Lagos. Capacity building for broadcast workers has been identified as a key factor towards realizing a complete migration to digital broadcasting in Africa. This was among other submissions made by stakeholders at the closing ceremony of the Digital Broadcasting Africa Forum in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi has the details.
The three-day workshop, which was adjudged a huge success by stakeholders, aimed to broaden the horizon of participants in the broadcast industry that digital terrestrial broadcasting has come to stay in Africa. Presentations on the various topics bordered on improving digital broadcasting content through capacity building and utilization of digital terrestrial television broadcasting.
The armor regulator to the ringside regulator. The armor regulator is always interested in stopping whatever issues we stand.
The Acting Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, and the Secretary General, Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, enjoined participants to make judicious use of the knowledge acquired from the workshop.
All our rules and regulations in the code, that's the way we are going to implement it.
There are signal distributors that need to put established networks in order to ensure that the traffic which is going to be carried, all this content that's going to be provided, they also have to put in their networks.
Some of the participants speak.
It just dawns on me now that the work we have to do is enormous.
Training and retraining of staff is extremely important, especially the technical staff.
Well, I think it's time television stations began to think in this digital era how content will be provided for them.
We have learned that, yes, the era of sleeping has gone. We just have to start running now.
The organizers expressed optimism in the federal government's ability to provide the necessary logistics needed to make digitization a reality. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
An information technology, youth empowerment and entrepreneurship program targeted at developing and empowering Nigerian youth graduates with requisite skills has been launched in Lagos. The program, which is at the instance of the Federal Ministries of Communication and Finance, has already trained 100 young graduates in software development.
Information Communication Technology Development is one of the strategic roadmaps of the Ministry of Communications aimed at developing a smart, globally competitive workforce that will produce major players in a smart digital Nigeria. Minister of Communications Adebayo Shitu said the local content development policy of government will continue to encourage Nigerian youths to build a sustainable development to grow the economy.
We are talking of ICT, which really would become the driving force in our lives, the driving force in all other professions, and the driving force for bringing in non-oil revenue.
The graduate internship scheme on software design and development is an initiative of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA.
To bridge the gap, the same gap in the area of human capital development, so that we can fit into all these sectors and provide services.
I want to see a center of 50,000 Nigerian youths cracking innovation, and you can have an originality of a product that doesn't exist anywhere in the world.
Graduates are expected to be attached to relevant ICT companies for further mentoring.
Internationally, I remember years back when you go to the market and buy, it's China. Well, they've abused them in the past. That is China. They made their mistakes. Let them allow manufacturers to make their mistake. We'll get there one day.
Let's now take a look at the closing figures on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today. Transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange closed today with about 587 million shares sold, valued at 3.57 billion naira in 5,500 and
development, waste management, agriculture and education.
The country has gone very far in terms of medical and medical technology from what I know. So the overall population of the entire territory now is moving towards 6 million, which is much higher than what was planned for the city. So if your companies are interested or your private people are interested in looking at medical services.
The Czech Minister of Agriculture, Marian Jurika, told the minister that he was leading a delegation of 25 businessmen representing various industries such as security, healthcare, including manufacturers of medical devices, the banking sector, mechanical engineering and agriculture.
Czech companies can offer a lot to your country. We can offer building of infrastructure, we can offer equipment for the energy industry in order to diversify your energy sources.
The minister hoped that the visit will further strengthen the relations between the two countries. Daniel Manson, NTA News.
Parents have been advised to carry out proper upbringing of their children with the mindset of nation building. Chief Imam of the Ansaruddin Mosque, Maitama Abuja, Musa Olaufe, centered his sermon this Friday on
of the People's Democratic Party 2016 National Convention Planning Committee has called for unity and sacrifice among party faithful as a way to ensure the success of the party. Governor Wike made the call at the National Convention Planning Committee's meeting of the party at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedin Ekwe has details.
The need to work as a team to reposition the party formed the thrust of the deliberations. Governor Wike reminded the National Planning Committee members of the importance of sacrifice towards ensuring that the party is sustained after the loss it suffered during the 2015 general election.
We have lost the election. I would say we must put our house in order and see what we can do. If the party is not united, you want to be governor of state A, you cannot be when the party is not together. So it's important that you must, first of all, unite the party and work as a team.
The governor remarked that within the South-South geopolitical zone, PDP is considered the party to beat, hence the need to ensure that the party is sustained. He urged members of the party to remain focused and work towards a successful convention. In Port Harcourt, Ogedin Ekwe, NTA News.
And Elizabeth, that's our beat from Port Harcourt. Back to you now for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Owa. Stakeholders who have converged on Abuja
and Council, SON and FRSC also discussed the need for motorists to change their tires after 4 years or running 80,000 kilometers. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Up ahead is global tidbits and sports update, but that will be after the break. Stay with us.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won long before you step into the ring." It takes massive investment, dedication, planning, and during fierce competition, never backing down. In 2005, Glow invested in the world's only privately owned undersea data cable, then connected this to its extensive fiber optic network throughout Nigeria, which seamlessly delivers flexible and affordable data plans for everyone, making Glow Nigeria's largest data network in new subscriptions. You see, it's not what you step into the ring with that makes you the master. It's everything you did to get you there. Dial *777# to choose an attractive data plan. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Introducing the new 5 Alive Pulpy Orange.
Where is the pulp? The pulp. Where is the pulp?
Civil war against terror, kidnapping and cultism. Report any bad move around you. See and does not talk, I kill old age. And to hear and does not behavior, I kill small picking. All of us have the duty of building Nigeria free of crime. That are our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
To keep my family healthy, I take time to make everything look clean.
Yes, but is it really clean? Let me show you. This is why 80% of hygiene-related illnesses are acquired at home. Some cleaners don't kill germs, others kill germs, but don't clean properly. The new Dettol Multi-Surface Cleaner.
French military operation in the country by the end of the year, with likely top discussions. And the man believed to be Hezbollah's most senior military
Corporation of Nigeria, Michael Oluwale, says the corporation will fully support the proposed fundraising and launch of Nigeria's Sports Book of Records, a 270-page compendium of the nation's sporting achievements from 1884 to 2015. Oluwale made the pledge in Abuja when